Welcome to Live with Greg, or Live with Greg, depending on semantics.
We're on.
We're rolling. How's it going, brother? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here again. Round two.
Round two.
Round two of Live with Greg or Live with Greg.
Live with Greg.
I can't live with Greg. Or
Exactly. How the hell do you live with
how do you
Greg?
live with Greg, right?
It's difficult.
I don't know. I've had a good time with you.
Thank you.
It's been, what, good 40 plus years now? About
It's coming up to 40.
40 plus, right? We were 16. I'll be 49 next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been
59.
59 next month, yeah.
Yeah. So we're coming up on 60 and 60. So what is that, like 40?
So math's not your best, so it's over 40 years. Yeah.
44, yeah.
40,
Damn.
over 40 years we've known each other.
I still wonder how we ended up on that island in Golden Gate Park.
Golden Gate Park, I know how we ended up at that. It was a bottle of tequila.
Yeah, but there wasn't a bridge.
There wasn't a bridge. There wasn't a bridge. There was a bridge.
There must have been.
There was a bridge. Remember, I pulled a post out of the ground,
I don't remember that.
and we slid in between the posts. There was paint on the post, but that was prior to that. We were it started out with a party. I remember in Hayward. And it was like girls, beer, and then somebody got stabbed at a stabbing. And we had parked in their front yard, and we were all fucked up. Maybe we stole some beer, alcohol, or something from them. So that's the beginning of the night. I remember. I don't remember anything before that, but I know we were going to a party. It was dead. We ended up in the city. Almost hit two cars.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, we went down the wrong way street a couple times on Broadway. I almost hit a Corvette once and some other aimless fool, and then somehow ended up at Golden Gate Park. And
To see the buffalo.
to see the buffalo, right? I don't remember seeing buffalo. I remember waking up to the sun peering at me through the windshield.
Yeah.
And I looked down, and there's a bottle of tequila with dirt in it. Our shoes are dirty. I don't know if we were chasing buffalo. I don't know. There's dirt in the bottle, and we were on Stowe Island. In Golden Gate Park.
In your car.
In Rose's car. It wasn't even my
Rose's.
car. It was my girlfriend's car. We weren't even in my car.
Damn, I don't.
Yeah, it was a red Capri, a Mercury Capri. 600. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was Rose Otto's car.
Yeah,
That's what it was. And she was mad because we were out all night. She thought it was with other women. And it was like, no, it's just with Greg. And trying to explain the story to her, of course, unbelievable, as most of our adventures are. The truth doesn't work. So yeah, that was one of those. Yeah, and it wasn't an end of a relationship night, but that was foggy. There's a point. I don't remember how we started. I don't know. I do remember parts of the middle. I don't remember towards the end. I don't even remember how we got home. I remember driving around Stowe Island. We find this access road and finding the bridge. Because we're literally on an island, dirty with drunk on tequila, and you're just like out of the passenger seat. And I find where we got in, and I look at I see the pole laying on the ground. I'm like, that's must have been how we got in. It's on the way off the island. And I squeaked through it, through the post again, and then next thing I remember, we're up on Columbia Way, up in the Highlands, a little go-to spot up there, and finishing off the tequila, trying to remember what the fuck happened that evening, and we were both very foggy, and still to this day don't know what we did on Stowe.
I remember seeing buffalo.
Right.
I do remember.
Right. That was the whole goal. We're going to go see
Right.
buffalo.
Right.
We went to San Francisco to see buffalo. And I didn't believe you, and we found buffalo. So, thank you for showing me buffalo, even though I don't remember it.
Thanks for showing me the island.
We got on the island. Yeah, that was that.
That was good.
It was good. You've had a few adventures, so yeah. I was thinking about one this morning, actually. It was the this is the Pasadena Suzuki theft. Remember, somehow we were, I don't know what happened, at your buddy John's house in Pasadena somewhere, and we decided we were going to burglarize the motorcycle shop there. And we got fuel and oil and everything, and we kept the back fence open, we peeled the fence here to look out, and we get in there, and we opened the crates, and the motorcycles were disassembled. They're not even good.
Kind of remember.
Across from
that.
the Denny's. Remember that was the Denny's
Yeah.
strip where I wouldn't pull over because I didn't want to eat at Denny's because I was like, speaking of race, that's why we're here. There was something happened with some black kids at Denny's, and I was like, I'm not eating at fucking Denny's. They're racist. And we drove around for hours and hours and ended up at a Pasadena Denny's right across from the Suzuki motorcycle dealership. And then we went to your buddy's house. We were sitting there, and then one day we all got, after being there for 2 or 3 days on various drugs, we decided we were going to rob the motorcycle place. And we got in, everything was set, got the cameras disabled, crates open, and your buddy's about to fill up these bikes. We rip open the crates and they're all in pieces. Until another one's all in pieces. So somebody grabs a wheel, someone grabs handlebars, someone grabs an exhaust pipe, and we bolt out of there and we go back to the house. And so our only evidence of our burglary was pieces of a motorcycle that we never got to steal. I don't know what we were going to do with it, but we were bored and that's what we did. And then,
It was foolish.
it was foolish. And then all the way home from that trip, the car died, I think.
I remember that
And
on
we,
Highway 5.
hitchhiked and got a ride and we rode in the back of a boat.
And we,
to
I don't
Hollywood.
remember in the back of the
Yeah,
boat.
There was a guy pulling a boat and we got in the back of the boat and we woke up in Castro Valley.
I remember we just left the car there.
Yeah.
That wasn't your car.
It
either.
wasn't my car either.
Yeah, don't load us in your car.
Actually, we're pretty trustworthy with cars, you know. I fixed that car that night, and Miles owed me money, so he lost his car because he owed me money. And I've been totally responsible for people's cars.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so loan me your car, I'll fix it.
Did Rose get her sides painted?
Yeah, I fixed the whole car.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
fixed it up. Yeah, I'm really good at that.
Cool.
So yeah, I may take you on a wild adventure, but any damages I'm responsible for, I will take care of.
It's good.
So, you know, folks.
None of this is going in. My kids are gonna.
This is going in, he says. You gotta put it in.
And thus we start.
My son loves those stories. Jordan, he is enthralled by them, and I think it scared him to a point where he would rather hear our horror stories than experience them in a first person.
That's good. That's wise.
Yeah, it is wise. He's a very old soul, my son. He loves, tell me a story about you and Uncle Greg, or tell me a story about Uncle Bob. And, you know, it's just the AC/DC concerts, wherever we were, up in Tam Hill, there's a lifetime of stories.
Yeah.
So he enjoys those wild stories of mine because at first I survived them without any repercussions or injury or loss of life or material or even reputation. So it's all good.
No jail time.
No jail time.
It's good.
Yeah, that's part of it. We'll discuss that later when we get to the race thing.
Really?
No, really, because that was...
All right. Yeah, because that's all right.
That's part of it. So,
All right. So race was a big deal last year.
yes, huge.
Seems to have died off amongst my peers.
Yeah, race. I wasn't really down with the Black Lives Movement, and still am not. The whole race thing. I think it's a political ploy, so separatism, and I think they're going about it the entire wrong way. That's not what I was taught as a kid about race. It was about unity and love and equality in the sense of how I treat you and how you treat me, not in how much I have or how much you have. You can be in disparity of income and even education and still be kind and civil to each other. It has nothing to do with race. Okay.
Okay, but I just saw in the news about a week ago, I think, black couple in Marin City bought a home, put a lot of money into it.
I saw that.
Okay.
I did see that, and they had a white woman pose as them, and they
Right.
got
500,000 more. Right.
Okay. Now, that is a problem.
And it's financial
It's financial.
and it's race.
It is race. Yeah, but that's not BLM. But that is a problem, only because people have a image of black people, and black people have an image of themselves. Okay? It's not a one-sided racist fence. As a black human, I see racism from all sides. and from blacks, from whites or non-blacks, because of who I am, where I grew up, how I was educated, how I speak, how I act, how I dress. All of those play factors on how people are affected by you. And so I have noticed that in this economical disparity amongst minorities, particularly black people, it's how they present themselves.
But I don't think this black couple presented themselves in a way that warranted 500,000.
I don't believe that either. That's an
Okay.
isolated case.
Okay.
I do believe that they were racially targeted. And I also believe that because it was Marin City, which is predominantly black, that had a lot to do with it.
So
Yeah, a
Marin
lot to
City,
do with it.
Black.
in Marin City, they're not going to give you the value because they didn't know that they just bought it or fixed it up. They just did it. There's a whole lot of things. Like in parts of Oakland, you can a black couple can go to parts of Oakland and try to buy a house, and it's going to be more, or a white couple is going to go and it's going to be less because they figure they're going to fix it up. So there is a disparity of racism when it comes to what is this black person going to do with their home. Yeah, they got to fix it up, take care of the yard, take care of the home itself, do the right thing with it. And throughout history, not a majority of blacks, but there have been a handful that have gone in neighborhoods and destroyed them. And it's not just blacks; it could be any
White,
culture,
yeah, and people.
any people, any
Right.
person. It's that typical type of person. So that is a problem. I think that black people need to be recognized as economic powers, and they have businesses, and they have myself contractors, and work on $5 or $6, $10 million homes every day, and we are based on our reputation and not on our color. So yeah. But then you have to stand up for yourself. I think what they did was wise by doing that, tricky but wise. They proved the point. Is that going to help other black people in the future? No.
It won't.
It won't. No, it won't.
So for me, I have a hope that people will hear this story and it'll help enlighten them to the racism that exists.
Yeah, because in that particular form of racism, at that point in time, that was an individual racist act. For that amount of money, that person wanted that house. I'm sure that agent. Eris's mom was one of those agents that would get in there and jig you down on the price so that we could buy. Because I profited from scams like that to get someone's house for cheap. I have family members that have done that. Get that house for cheap so I can get in there, do what I got to do, and sell it for more. So that could have been just a buy of somebody trying to get over on an ignorant person. Maybe because they thought they were black, they could get over on them.
So you think there's other factors besides race? that
Sure,
are
it's
involved?
a hustle. This is a dog-eat-dog world. If I can get something for you for cheap, I'm going to do it. If you fall for the okie doke, I'm going to take advantage. That's business. That's the ruthlessness of business.
So do you think that's good?
We live in a capitalistic society. That's
Right.
beware, buyer beware.
Right.
The value is only what someone's willing to pay for it. And if you're willing to let it go for less of value, that's your choice. And that's not race, that's ignorance. And they were not ignorant. They said, no, our house is worth more. How many times has that happened to not just black people, but white people or Hispanic people, where they've had something and someone offered them something and they took less for it? That happens all the time that we're not aware of. In that particular case, it might not have been total racism. It might have been someone trying to take advantage of somebody who they felt, because they were black, didn't know the market or didn't know the value of their home. Okay, that's just targeting. Like someone, that's just like how criminals target victims on the street, or the guy with the 3-card Molly trick in the city.
Right.
You play the game, it's a hustle. Everyone knows it's a hustle, but every day he takes $20 from somebody who thinks they can win. Why is that happening? Why people go to these gambling joints and casinos? They all know the house is going to win, but they're lined up for that hope of getting paid.
Easy money.
Easy money. So greed has a lot to do with it. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Have you ever experienced, from me, like a white ignorant thing where you're just like, You don't even know, Wilkes. You just said that and you're fucking ignorant. That had to do with race, because I know I've said that to many things.
About race, no.
Well, thank you.
No, really. About race, you have said some things that have been highly intellectual, highly potent, and highly admirable for someone who's not of color. I've never felt that you said anything out of ignorance, unless it was a question. And to me, questions are ignorant. They're not assumptions. Yeah. So you've never said anything assumptive to me. It's always been, hey, what do you think? Or what about this, like you are right now? You're not assuming that it's racist. You are questioning, is it? In that particular point, only the person that was trying to buy the house for cheap and the person that was backing that play knows if it was a racist play or not. Yeah. Obviously, it was a racist play because a white person came in there and they got a higher price.
Right. They did get a different...
a different realtor, too.
Yeah, different assessor.
So that's two different things.
Right,
okay, so the experiment only works if it's the same person's involved.
Right.
And since we can't do that, then we don't know. But that assessor was probably racist, yes. And he probably had a play in trying to get that house for cheap. Yeah. Because he had a developer or a buyer on the other end that he could make some money off of and profit. So you have to look at the full circle and spectrum. Not everything is race driven. I think that's a problem we're having in society. Everybody wants to put race on the front board. And is it? Or is it greed? Or is it politics? Is it fame? There's a whole lot of factors that play into why people treated other people badly. It may not be because you're black or white or Hispanic or Asian. It could be because you have something that I want.
So how do we deal with a historical practice that is racist?
Mm-hmm.
And well, let me ask you this. Do you have hope that the United States of America can one day truly be like the Statue of Liberty says?
Not with the people that are in power now, no. Not even with this new administration, especially not with the last one.
Well, that seems to be proven quite.
Hope will come from the recognition that, like I said, it's not about racial equality, it's about human equality. It's not about Black Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter or green or yellow or red. It's about my life matters. I matter. No matter what I am, male, female, no matter my gender, my economic status, my educational background, any of those things shouldn't matter. How am I treating you and how are you treating me? When that is on the table first and foremost, that's when there's going to be hope. As long as we're still trying to catch up economically or catch up with education or catch up with technology or catch up with... As long as we're playing catch up, there's no hope. Because it's not about catching up. It's about recognition of you as an individual.
Do you think your son has an extra burden as a mixed race gentleman that my son doesn't have? Extra burden?
Yeah, because I had the extra burden as a mixed race. That's why I brought this here today, because I had not recognized until my son got cancer and his mother, actually a couple years before that, we did a genealogy test, and mine came up 68% sub-Saharan Africa and 30.7% European. So I'm 30% white. Didn't know that. We thought we were Native American this whole time. And actually, there's a list that goes down here: East Asian, Native American, South Asian, Oceanic, and then only 0.4% unassigned. So my genealogy lights up the entire globe. This is, you probably don't see that, but I'm everything but Russia, Ukraine, Iceland, and Greenland. I'm not from there, but everywhere else on the planet I have genetic ties to. So back to the question of a multicultural child and growing up. I had a hard time because I was discriminated against by both blacks and whites that didn't know me. The people in my neighborhood that knew me, people in my community that knew me, there was no problem. Oh, that's Tony, smart guy, musician, blah, 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 that's this guy, he's good. Outside of my community, the whites that didn't know me, until they knew me, there was a problem, and then there wasn't. I noticed that there was always a problem, and then there wasn't, Even though with Sonia's parents, there was a problem, and then there wasn't. As soon as I showed economic prowess, ability to make money, with the ability to protect, their daughter and take care of their daughter, there was a problem. And then there wasn't. And to this day, there's not. But I made them a lot of money, so. So, I mean, blacks looked at me as the black kid that lived up in the Highlands, had a car, spoke proper, was in all the advanced classes. And so, yes, I was bougie, uppity, Oreo. They had all kind of derogative terms for someone like me. Not knowing that I was 30% white, but I acted white on the inside. It looked black on the outside. So there was a disparity among black kids when they came to me. I wasn't as black as they were, so there was a problem with me. More so with them than the white kids. The white kids accepted me because I knew all the rock songs, and I had a nice house with the pool, the pinball table, the pool. We partied at my house. We had the full bar, and yeah, Toast is cool. You go to his house and party anytime, so there was no problem because they had something that they wanted and needed and enjoyed. The black kids looked at me like I was being bougie or above them, and so they never wanted to come by the house and engage in the pool parties or the keg parties or the swing parties or anything that we did up there. They didn't want to come to the Highlands and hang out with me.
Did you invite him?
Sure.
Yeah. Have you ever had a conversation with Jordan about being careful with cops?
About being careful about his race. When he was little,
Yeah.
I used to take the 40 bus from, he grew up in Rockridge, Oakland, which is Piedmont, Montclair, upper class Oakland Hills. And we would take the bus ride all the way down East 14th, all the way to the Hayward, BART station, so you can see women of leisure and pimps and drug addicts and on the side of the road. And he would question me about these people and who was good and who's bad. And I was like, oh, those aren't the bad people. Those are the victims. The guy with the fancy car, that's the bad guy. So I was able to help him identify good and bad as not by economic status. It's about how you got your money. That's what made you bad. He's taking advantage of them. They don't have a choice. So they do, but at this point they don't see their choice. So they're depending upon this guy with the big rims and the tires and that's walking around collecting money from everybody. That's the bad guy. But then he's only bad because he hasn't recognized that he can do better.
All right, so what's the jail conversation?
Oh, the jail conversation, I don't know. As a black man, been involved with, I'd say close to 50 arrests, no convictions, no beat downs, no nothing. I've had a lot of experience with the police. And it's only because of the way I handle myself when it comes down to time to being arrested. I know my rights. I don't have to say anything to you. You have my identification. Prove your case. I'll see you in court. Okay. I'm not going to fight with you or ask you what you want or what you're doing or just be disgruntled. Why are you going me over? Okay. Here's the ID. Do what you got to do.
So I'm hearing in your experience,
That's my experience.
the trouble can be avoided.
It can be avoided. Let them do their job. You have nothing to say. You don't have to respond.
So even if you can tell, like, this fucking racist
You can be,
white
I've had them be racist to me. I've had them tell me, just give us 3 names. Just give us a name. And I'm like, Scooby-Doo, Mickey Mouse, your mom. I don't know. What do I say? It's just like with me, they have a badge and a gun. Okay, so first things first, I'm not going to win. They have the radio, the badge, and the gun. I do know that there's a judicial system that works if you play it, if you know how to use it. But that's only because I grew up with Judge Farwell, Judge Edgar, and people that were attorneys and stuff. I saw how the system works. So maybe that's probably why I'm more relaxed around law enforcement, because I know how the system works. You have to prove your case. I'm not going to tell on myself. I'm not going to tell on you. I could be dead wrong. And then a few times I've been dead to rights. But you have to prove it. And if you don't say anything, then there's no evidence. I'm not going to tell on myself. I'm not going to say I did that.
Okay, when I hear the story of the guy that was parked at Denny's spending the night because he was drunk and he didn't want to drive, and he got shot.
Sure.
And my understanding is he got shot. Because, and then I see interviews with Muhammad Ali and Dave Chappelle and all these black gentlemen I respect, and they're like, yeah, white people, they're killing black people.
They are killing black people. Yeah, they are. Because there's a fear amongst that law enforcement that black people are violent, and black people are argumentative, and black people are abusive, verbally and physically, to each other and to the law enforcement. And so, yeah, that is a stigma that has to be corrected. But that can only be corrected by the community itself. That people have to start treating themselves better. If I'm treating myself with respect, and I'm treating you with respect, then I will be treated respectfully, hopefully. Even if I'm not, that's not going to change the way I am. You can call me the N-word, you can call me boy. I've been called everything in the book, but it hasn't changed my demeanor or the way I look at life. You would have put a gun to my head. I've got guns pointed at me. I'm still sitting here. It's like, is that the resolution that we've come to at this point? Because I keep a logical mind, and I'm not saying that everybody can, but in my personal experience, because I've kept a logical mind with race, not just racism or race, because I know I'm this type of person, I've been able thus far to not get beat up, not get shot, not get thrown in jail unwarrantedly, beat every charge that's been placed against me, because I have had the ability to make a phone call, keep my mouth shut, get the lawyer, even public defenders, talk to that person, speak to them in a manner that's convincing to them to where they want to take my case and defend me properly and win, even though I've been dead wrong.
So it seems like, in talking with you, that the solution to racism is, like we were saying earlier, the mind. It's how I live.
How I live.
I don't live racist.
Exactly.
Just don't live
And
it.
if you do something racist, my bad, I'm sorry, I apologize, I didn't mean for that to sound like that. Excuse me, and then get educated, listen to that person and find out why that's a racist comment or action that you just did. Learn from that and apply it. Apply it. I've had people in the most whitest of areas, what's the nigger doing in here? Ready to get beat up by 3 big white guys. And then at night we're doing shots and having a good fucking time because I handled myself accordingly. I know you don't know me. So if I act out in a manner that you're expecting to act out, then you're going to have every right to do what you're going to do. But if I don't act out like that person, don't act like the typical black person that you're thinking, even though I don't know what that is, because I'm acting as myself. So maybe I'm the wrong person to ask about that, because I wasn't raised black in a sense of blackness. I wasn't raised disparaged. We had a brand new Mercedes. We experienced that. The night we were in my mom's Mercedes, brand new Mercedes, and we were after a wedding party reception. We were driving around Hayward, and somehow I hit the alarm button, and we got pulled over by a cop. And the cop was like, "Oh, I thought you guys were a couple doctors on the way to emergency. We're like 16 or 17 years old." So here is a black 16-year-old kid in a brand new Mercedes, 1879 or whatever year it was, and they let us go because we lived in the Highlands. Where do you guys live? Oh, we live above Castle here in the Highlands. Oh, go home. Now, if I said I lived in South Hayward, that probably would have been a whole different story. Whose car is this? Where'd you guys get the car? But because of our zip code and our address and how I spoke to the officer, even at 16, we were allowed, drunk, behind the wheel, underage, in a brand new Mercedes to drive home in 1979. You were there.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you were in the passenger seat going, "What just happened?" And I was like, I hit the alarm, and the alarm was going off as we were driving down the road, and the cop actually thought we were doctors on our way to emergency. Then we turned away from the hospital, and that's when he pulled us over. I was like, "Oh, I'm just trying to go home. I live up the hill. It's my mom's car." I explained to him we were coming from a wedding reception. We were just taking the car for a ride. He was like, "Oh, you guys been drinking tonight?" I was like, "Oh, yeah. Some champagne at the wedding, of course." He goes, "Take it home." Then we drove home. And I've had so many run-ins with the police like that, where here at Fairfax last year, Halloween, we were at seeing a friend of ours, Angelo Moore. We were seeing one of his band, Dr. Mad Five, and Halloween night, and won the Halloween costume that night, dressed as Eazy-E. So I had the afro wig on and the dark sunglasses with the Raiders shirt, the LA bling. And I pull out, and the girls are all, make a right. And I'm like, nah, I'm going left. And they're going, go left. I'm like, nah, I'm going right. And the cop pulls us over. And it just happens to be a black cop. He looks at me, and they're drunk. My girl's drunk. All her friends are drunk. And I'm like, all right. I go, happy Halloween, officer. How are you this evening? And he's like, good. You know, you ran a stop sign and made a legal left and a legal right. I'm like, yeah, I don't know where I'm at. They're drunk. I'm just trying to get them home. And he goes, okay. I said, here's my license, registration, insurance. I go, yeah, I don't need insurance. That's fine. And he runs me. And he comes back and he goes, you're a big Raiders fan? I go, yeah, I'll be at the game tomorrow. Black hole, section 118. He goes, I'll see you tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And he hands me back my stuff and walks away. And that was last year. So I was ready with my ID. I was driving a car registered to me, insured to me, valid, everything valid, no wants, no warrants, records clean. And the way they can sense the comfortability about you, I think. It's how people can sense tension. If you're tense behind the wheel of a car, the cop shows they can sense tense. You can sense if someone's tense. If I was uncomfortable right now, you would know it. You would sense that. And so I don't put out any form of. I'm not tense around the police. I'm not afraid of them. I grew up around cops. I had an uncle who was a cop. I said around lawyers and judges, knowing the law. So maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe if more kids of color were able to communicate with police officers and judges and lawyers and know the law and know their rights and know that the cop can't judge them on the street instead of acting like they can because they have been, maybe that's part of the problem. My personal experience hasn't been that, but then I don't have their personal experience. I'm an affluent child. Everything I have is inherited, really. I work hard, but I've been privileged throughout my whole life, so I don't have the same experience that a normal black man in America would have. I really don't, to be honest with you. My perspective is totally different.
All right, but you say a normal black person, a black man in America, so there is the normalcy.
I'm a black man from Northern California.
From Hayward.
Yeah, who grew up in the Hayward Hills, driving in a Mercedes, with a swimming pool, and a pinball machine, the pool table, going to the best schools and living in the best homes, and I don't have that experience. I don't know what it's like to be sitting there watching the cops beat down on a drug dealer or
when you're 10 years old.
Yeah, I don't have that image in my head. That plays a big part of it. I think I couldn't tell you how I grew up that way. I have cousins that grew up that way, and they're not doing so well. And I have cousins that grew up that way that we brought into our home that are doing quite well. I have cousins that saw how we lived, and they're doing quite well. In fact, I have a cousin that just yesterday experienced some racism. She owns a 12-unit apartment building, and she was selling a piece of furniture. I think it was a stove or something, she was saying. And the guy came to pick up the stove, and he asked her if she was the manager. And her response was, is an owner an option? Because she's the owner. And the gentleman, obviously his wife, had nothing to say to her after that. There's a black woman, black gay woman, that owns a 12-unit apartment building, She grew up in the hood, but she saw something else with her life. And she got through the poverty, she got through the gay, she got through the black woman, and now she's successful. And so you can do it, but it's a mindset.
All right, so how do you exercise that mindset?
Belief itself. Knowing yourself, knowing your surroundings, knowing the law. If you know the cops are brutal in that area, that's brutality. Prepare yourself. Don't do dumb shit around dumb cops. The cops are pretty local and they're in their area. There's always that bad cop. They're not all over the place. They have an area that they patrol.
Right.
That's them. You know that guy. I know that guy. I know you're a dick. I had an officer in our neighborhood, Officer Sorensen. He used to pick up me all the time when I had the limousine service. So finally, I saw him one day. He saw me one day. We pulled over And he took off his helmet. He both lit up a cigarette. We're sitting there. I go, so what's the deal, Officer Sorensen? He's like, I see you in a Corvette. I see you in a limousine. I see you in the IROC. You got to be up to something. And I'm like, I'm just out here trying to make a buck. I said, the car is legit. They're licensed. You see who they're registered to. They're not stolen. You see me all the time. You particularly want to pick on me. The last ticket you gave me was for a PUC violation. You couldn't see the numbers from 500 feet. And the cop threw it out of court because it was asinine. He goes, you're in here all the time. What the sources have? He goes, the judge told me, as I'm friends with Judge Farrell, he told me to have a talk with you. That's why we're sitting here right now. I need to talk with you. The judge even says you're out of line. So what's up? And after that, I was never bothered by him again. After he talked to me and I talked to him, we never talked. It was always, oh, there he is in IROC, pull over. Oh, there he is in the Benz, pull over. Oh, there he is in the limo, pull it over. It was like, I inherited this money. Someone died for me to have this, And sure, I'm flaunting it, yeah, because I'm 20-something years old, but I'm not being a dick about it for real, I'm not leaving town because of this, I'm giving to, because there's 8 kids in the back, I'm taking them to Chuck E. Cheese from South Hayward, and because they didn't have any money for a birthday party, so a friend of mine said, hey, can you bring your limo down and take my little cousin to Chuck E. Cheese? And I did. And then he pulled me over, and I told him, don't say nothing, don't get out of the car. The kids were scared. And I handled it. I said, nah, dude, these are little kids in the car. What are you doing? This can't happen. He got it. And ironically, a few years ago, I'm at a funeral for that same guy, and I'm sitting with the family, and these very menacing looking Hispanic guys come up, tattooed, gold teeth, everything, and they're looking at me and looking at why am I sitting with the deceased's mom and family, and it's a packed place. Who are you, bro? And I was like, Toast. And they're like, Toast. And he's like, he's looking at me, they're eyeballing me for a second, and then one of Danny Montenegro, one of his brothers goes, the guy with the limo. And the faces of these 4 gentlemen, I'll call them, they remembered. We protected them from the police when they were 8 years old. Now they're gangbangers.
Right.
Chuck E. Cheese! Hey, Chuck E. Cheese, what's up? And I was like, I go, you were in the back of my car? He goes, yeah, it was my 8th birthday. What the fuck? And we were like, oh. And they were ready to rip my head off 2 seconds before them. But someone goes, that's the guy that took you on your 8th birthday party. He came from the hills down to share this with you. The cops got involved. I was in a bad neighborhood with my limousine. He wanted to find out what I was doing down there. And I had a bunch of 8-year-old kids in the back of my car. I'm not going to let the cop fuck with me. I got kids in the car, dude. What's your problem? And then years later, I see those same gentlemen, and they're in a bad way. I'm assuming because the way they look, that's not good, but they still have respect for me.
What is that human element that steps off on the negative right from
Immediately. Immediately, what are you doing?
Right.
What's he doing here? He's not Mexican. He's not dressed like us. He's not talking like us. Why are you here?
That human thing.
But the second they found out who I was, everything, their whole facial expressions, they weren't menacing anymore. I saw these little kids again. You could see it in their eyes that they wanted to be human.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be human.
Yes.
They want to be human. Everybody wants to be human. Why they're mechanized not to be is their surroundings. I know why the cops pulled me over because the neighborhood I was in was rough. I'm in a brand new stretch. What are you doing down here? Nobody comes down here in cars like that. What the fuck, dude? Who's in the car? I'm like, little kids.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. I'm like, little kids, I'm going to protect the kids. And that person saw that. And I could see why he had a problem with the cops. He saw the cops attacking a bunch of kids. He didn't see the kids didn't see the cop attacking a potential bad guy in a limousine in a bad neighborhood, possibly a drug dealer, possibly a pimp, possibly whatever, up to no good. That's what the cop was doing. The kids didn't see that. They saw a cop attacking someone who was trying to give them a good time. But then they saw me defending myself against the cop, which probably put the cop in a bad light because I pushed him off. Nah, dude, you're not getting in my car. These little kids. Lock the doors, so roll the window up. You're not getting in the car, bro. You're going to Chuck E. Cheese. Follow me. But that's as far as this is going. Standing up, knowing my rights. I'm not going to cower down. I'm not going to, I can be badly to the officer, but I'm not going to do it. But in that instance, that ironically, 15, 20 years later, ended me in a situation to where that one act of, not even kindness, it was an act of responsibility. I'm responsible for my community, as big as I want to make it. And if I don't act accordingly in my community, they're going to respond against me or with me. Because I reached out to those gentlemen. I can go to that area to this day, 25 years later, and no one's going to touch me. I'm not from there. I don't speak like them or act like them or look like them. I did one act. One act. And not even of kindness, like I said, of humanity, You can't afford, Mom, my cousin can't afford a birthday party. I'll be right there, bro. Chuck E. Cheese on me with a couple pizzas. Kid's 8 years old. Why can't everybody do that? And I didn't do it for that. It just so happens that that's what happened.
Have you ever experienced mentally a grind of racism where you're just like, fuck?
Yeah, me and Eris's mom lived in a condo in San Ramon, and the guy above us, every day I'd get little notes on my newspaper, nigger go home, white nigger lover. And finally met this guy, and he was like, nothing against obese people. This is not
But he was a fat fuck.
He was a fat ugly fuck. And I looked at him, and I felt sorry for him. I was like, you're just a lonely fat fuck. And please, this is not against, I don't want to do this body shaming thing. This was a time when this person had been hammering me on a daily basis for months. I'm paying the same amount of money as you're paying. I got quite qualified, and I'm in, and I'm living here. I didn't just roll in off the street. We're here. We're living here. And that's when I owned my skateboard shop. I'm a business owner. I have a thriving skateboard business. I own a condo. I'm driving a car. We're doing things. And all of a sudden, this guy is just on me about this being black daily and daily and daily. And then when I finally saw who I was being victimized was, I wasn't victimized anymore. Actually, I felt sorry for him. And I was like, oh, I get it.
Was there...
It has nothing to do with me being black. It's because I have what he wants.
Right. Did you talk with him?
No, I never spoke to him.
No, that was it.
I ignored it.
Did he keep doing it?
I don't even know.
That's interesting.
I don't remember anything after that. After that, it was like, oh wow, poor dude. I get it. There's his mom and all her friends. They're all, they're young and hot and right by the pool. We live right by the pool. And I got my skateboard business. I have a little skateboard ROMs around me. I was a skateboard shop owner. They knock on my door. Hey, Mr. Toad, should we get some stickers? I'm giving stickers out. So he's seeing all this action around about my unit, And he was just a lonely guy. Never visitors, never anybody coming by. I don't know if his phone ever rang. I don't know if he had any friends. I never saw any visitors. But it wasn't, at that point, it wasn't about me being black. It was about me being me. You just don't like me because you don't like yourself. I don't know what to do about that. So I'm not going to do anything.
Do you think that's fundamentally what racism is self-hatred?
I think racism is not knowing who you're hating. You don't even know who you're hating. If you're going to hate me on pure appearance alone, then you're not being human. I have to do something to you for you to hate me.
Right.
I've got to physically, mentally, or economically take something from you that you don't want to give up for you to hate me. Hate's a strong word.
Yeah.
I really have to give me this bottle and punch you in the fucking face and kick you and rape your wife, and then you can hate me. But until then, I don't even know what you're talking about. I can't give that any weight. I can't give that any power. So if you're going to hate me, that's on you. Because I have people that hated me and that don't hate me anymore. Because after they spend time with me, they realize that I don't hate them. Even though they hated me first. You're not going to change my narrative. And I think that's a problem. Because the cops hate you, you're going to hate them back? No. That's not going to work. It won't work. That's why I don't see the hope. That's not how it works.
Right.
That's not how it worked for me. Everybody who's hated me, I've loved back or understood why they hated me and ignored them. Either love them or ignored them. You have two choices. You can accept them or you can ignore them. But you don't have to go, fuck you, racist fuck. Now we're doing this. Now it's like, fuck you, nigger, fuck you, monkey, fuck you this, fuck you that. Now we're just spinning in undue energy. It's unfounded and it goes nowhere. I realize, okay, no one loves you. I get it. I feel sorry for you. And I just walked away and took my paper every day and threw the little note aside. And sat on my little balcony in the sun, watched my hot little girlfriend.
Okay. So you said earlier about environment, because that's,
Key.
there you are, a young adult, and you're very grounded,
Yeah.
very smart. What about a 6-year-old kid who's experiencing that? You know, like that's part of what I think is,
I feel bad for youth in America that have to grow up in hate. Because how are they going to know what not hate is?
right,
You know, I'm not even talking about love, but just not to hate.
yeah,
You know,
Peace.
Peace, yeah. Why is there hate? Like I said, why people hate me? I don't hate you. And as a child, I didn't grow up in an environment of hate. You know, I grew up in an environment of work hard, study hard, you know, respect yourself, respect others, respect your elders, you know, it was kind of strict, speak when spoken to, yes sir, yes ma'am. It got to a point of where I had to even break that mold, like this is crazy, you know. But then there's a lot of lessons learned. You know, I'm not going to ask you how your brother's doing when I can go call your brother directly. I'll ask you about people that I can't get a hold of. Yeah, that's respect. You know, I want to know about Aaron. I'll call Aaron up. Right?
Yes.
People don't do that. How do they do it? I don't know how. He's right there. Ask him. You know? Why are you asking me what this dude's doing? You know?
Yeah.
Why are you asking me what his problem is? I think a lot of that's happening right now, even with the internet, social media. And people are not asking the right questions to the right people.
yeah,
You know, ask the right question to the right person. If you don't know, ask them. You know, the cops should assume that we're all criminals. You should just check the ID and run it, and then go from there.
you said you weren't going to disturb us.
What is it?
Doesn't matter.
You guys look like you're eating.
Hello, hi.
Toast, toast,
Hey, how are you?
toast, toast,
Hey,
James.
how you doing?
Toast?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It's
No problem.
okay. You live here. You don't have to. I'm just giving you grief. Well, is there anything else that
We can continue.
I don't know, like, because you've hit on the nail on the head, is that racism, in essence, is only going to exist as long as I feed that fire.
Right.
And like I was picturing when you were talking about the game bangers at the funeral.
Right.
Like I picture myself sitting in your place. I think I'd be afraid.
Sure.
And I would emanate fear.
Right.
And what I was hearing you say is you didn't have that fear.
I didn't have the beer. I was sitting with the deceased mother. I was surrounded by his family.
Right.
I was there paying my respects to a friend of mine who died because he was too proud to ask for help. And he died walking to the hospital. Instead of calling me or calling somebody that would help him. He was that. And so I felt so bad for the family. His fear had nothing to do with it. I knew why I was present.
Yeah.
I knew why I was sitting next to his mother. You know, I knew why when I walked in, people were like, in a packed fucking house, which is what started it. I walked into a packed house, they're standing room only, and someone saw me and they waved me to the front. And so here I am, kind of unconscious as it is, coming through all by myself, wandering through and sitting next to Danny's mom. And she was like, oh, God. And I just felt my condolences because my beggar, I'm so sorry, you know. And his brothers were there and like, yeah, what's up, bro? You know, it was all good and everything calmed down. So afterwards, we were able to look at me like, who's that guy? I don't know that guy. But you did know me. You know me. Yeah, you know me. Yeah. People have to realize that no one's there for no reason. Everybody has a reason of being somewhere. That guy Denny's, I feel sorry for him and his family. He was there for a reason. Cop needed to figure out why he was there before you pull the trigger. You know, the guy at Denny's, I don't know what he did to provoke it. Hopefully nothing. You know, I don't know. Hopefully something. I don't know. How do you respond to that?
Right.
Because no one deserves to die sleeping in their car because they have nowhere else to go.
Especially when they did the right thing, they were drunk
And they pulled over. Right, they pulled over. Trying to do the right thing, trying to save lives,
Right.
you know, on the highway, and did that. That, I don't understand that. You know, I don't understand a lot of things that are happening, you know. When one lady got shot up at a fake raid or a search warrant in the wrong address, and she
Right.
gets, you know, why are these people dead? I don't know. I have no answers for that. And then when people must say it's racist or this and that, but I don't know who they were looking for. I don't know why the guy had a gun. I don't know why people carry guns. You know,
Right.
You know, I have guns, but I take them to the gun range. You know, you're not going to see my gun, you know, unless you pull yours. You know, and that's never happened. Luckily, so I don't have to deal with that. You know, I think everybody should know how to work and operate a gun, but is that the problem, or is it the operator? It's, you know, people don't have to be quick to pull the trigger. You know.
I was just remembering, I was working at a summer camp a couple years ago, and kids leave their clothes and stuff, and at the end of the camp, there's all these clothes.
All these clothes.
So I went to Marin City because there's a woman there who has a thing to help the community out there. And I remember, like, I couldn't find where she lived, and there were 4 gentlemen sitting in the park in these chairs, and I thought, well, I'll go ask them. But I was afraid, and, you know, and I
Why were
decided,
you afraid?
because of stories I've heard of Marin City, and I'm white, and they're black.
And there
and-
you go, a story you've heard.
Right.
Not experiences that
Right,
you've had.
right, exactly.
Just stories you've heard.
Well, that's why I went and spoke with them, because I'm like, I'm not going to let my fear in these stories be the scenario that plays out. And they were very kind, and but there's that element of me stepping out of my being willing to be uncomfortable and do it anyways.
Right. Where does that uncomfortability come from? Because that seems to be the hinge point. Cops are uncomfortable with
Right.
the criminals. The non-criminals are uncomfortable with the cops because they see how they treat the criminals. People outside the community are uncomfortable with this community because they see what happens within the community. Even though it's maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people in that 5,000 or 8,000 or 10,000 person community, because there's 10 bad people, everyone looks at that whole community as bad, and they feel uncomfortable.
And even those 10 people aren't pure bad. You know, there's
Some of them are pretty bad.
I haven't met any of them.
I've met some of them. They're pretty bad. I've met some bad people, and I have to say that. And I understand why there's fear even within the community. I've met some bad people in my life, and I've gotten through that by not being afraid of them. You know, and I got through that by not being intimidated by them, and by showing them that, you know, whatever's going to happen is what's going to happen. You know, I'm going to walk into your dojo and you're going to pull a gun on me because you know who I am, and we're going to figure it out right now, or I'm going to die right now. And that's what I said to them, and they were like, all right, who are you? Because I think fear is part of the element that makes everybody uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, I'm fearless, and I
Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. You say I'm highly intelligent, highly educated, and I was raised well, but for some reason I'm stupid enough not to fear it. For some reason, I don't know what it is. I am fearless, and I don't know.
Is that something you can teach Jordan?
He's pretty fearless.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's fearless. Yeah, as he was a little kid, he'd fall, he'd go get up. His mother would try to call him. I'm like, no, this is my son. Don't touch him. Get up. But she said, are you bleeding? No, you're good to go. Let's go.
So you think that's part of it?
Part of it is letting people fail. You know, allowing people to fail, and expressing to them that failure is only a failure when you stop trying. Success is the attempt. That's it. Everybody's successful as long as they keep trying. You can't stop. As soon as you stop, you're the failure. As soon as I give in to fear, I'm a failure. As soon as I stop trying to educate myself or try to be smarter or faster or wiser, and people have chained on it to richer, but I think you need to go at that point. But just being better, every day I want to learn to be a better person. I want to try to be a better person, and that's how I live my life. For me, that's living. I don't want to be stagnant. I don't want to be not here. I don't want to be not sharing. I don't want to be not giving. I don't want to be not learning or not growing. Then let's just put a bullet in my head and just end it right there. Then what am I doing here? Just a cog in a wheel. I don't want to be that meme where people are just stamp doing it.
Have you ever had a period in your life where you thought, I should be dead because this is failing?
Yeah, drug addiction.
Yeah,
that was a key hinge point where I was like, this is repetitive. Now I'm on that hamster wheel. Even though it's a different hamster wheel, it's the same hamster wheel. Addiction is the same thing as giving in to something. You're giving in to something, so that's why I was able to successfully get out of that life. People are like, how did you do it? NA or Jesus or this and that? And I'm like, I said, done. You guys are idiots. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
I'll see you on the other side. And I walked away, and I took Sonia with me, and then everyone went back. And it was a conscious choice of making a change and knowing that I can do that. I put myself here. I could get myself out of it. I couldn't imagine having to be put there and having no way out and hopelessness. That I think is part of a problem that we're having with race today. Is a lot of these people feel hopeless. They just feel that nobody sees them or they're feared. Why are you fearing me? I'm just a little kid.
Right.
Because I live at this address on this corner and I'm standing here. I'm not the bad guy. There's bad guys over there. Like I thought Jordan, that's the bad guy. He doesn't even live here anymore. He just comes in and gets his money and leaves. The bad guys don't even live in the hood now. They're out. They take the money and run. Leaving the victims are the people that are there behind, We can't fear them because we don't know them. I don't fear them. They've disparaged me. They've talked about me and attacked me, and I'm one of them. And I don't fear them or hate them. I just try to explain to them, you can do this too. Even though I had every advantage in life. I had one young lady. I was at DMV and I was talking to someone like we're talking right now, and they couldn't have been more than 18 or 19 years old with a baby carriage. She goes, I want my baby to talk just like you when he gets big. I looked over at her and I was like, well, you know what? Keep your kid in school, love him, and never let anybody come between you and your child. And that's how I left it. And your kid will end up just like me. Yeah. Don't let anybody become between you. Our mothers loved us. Maybe that's part of it. They still do.
Yeah.
We've had that love. Our friends love us, and they still do. We've had love and experiences throughout all our mistakes and trials and tribulations that we've gone through, and people still love us unconditionally because of who we are. And that's key. That's key. We need to love these people. We want them to change. It's not about economic equalization, or love them. Go see how they're doing. I want you to stop and go by Marin City and just stop and chat with those, drive around and stop and chat with the first person you see. How you doing today? I was just in the neighborhood. Never been here before. What's good? What's good?
Right.
How are you doing? How's life?
Right.
Talk to those people. Find what they're doing. That's who you should be talking to. I'm not the example of a black man in America. Sorry, I'm not. Sorry. Sorry, we're wasting your time. Because my idea is totally skewed.
I was thinking about this episode happening, and I was trying to think of a race where race came up in our relationship, even as a conversation. The only thing I can remember is when you came back from Arizona and you said Arizona's fucking racist.
Yeah, it was.
And
but I got out of there.
right, and you didn't talk about anything.
Yeah,
that was it. That was it. You were like,
What saved me there is I came to California, came back with 100 hits of acid, and I was no longer racist anymore. Right? That's what I'm saying. What is racism? It's because I don't have something that you want or need. You don't know who I am or what I can do for you. As soon as you find something that I can do for you, now you don't see what color I am. These racist people in Arizona, as soon as I say, well, what do you guys, what's your problem with me? Oh, you just think, oh, that black people ain't shit. Well, let me show you something. Here. Oh, shit. Where'd you get that? Berkeley? What? You gonna get more? Sure. Oh, wait, give me some money. And it was cool, you know, and it was like, you know, yeah. People are racist until they find out, until you show them that you can do something for them. And this was sad because it shouldn't have to do that.
Right.
It should have been, why are you hating me because I'm black or different? You know, I had a nice car. I'm in Arizona. I was living in a poor neighborhood in Arizona, staying with a family. You know, to experience my first day in Arizona, I was at a hospital. One cousin shot another cousin, both black, because one lived here and one lived there. It was the typical black on black crime because they lived on each end of South Phoenix. One was in one gang, one was in the other. They didn't realize they were cousins until I showed up. And I brought the one cousin that was in the gang that shot the other cousin, and I went up and said, you know you guys are cousins?
What, did that change anything?
It sure did.
It did?
It sure did. Yeah, it changed a lot. They didn't know. And that's why I went to their mothers. I'm like, why aren't you talking to your children about what's happening here? What? You're worried about that dude. Your boyfriend. You like this guy who's in this gang. You like a guy who's in that gang. You guys are sisters. What the fuck? You know, that's what it's come to. Your children are going to get shot up on the street because you like this guy and you like that guy. So now you guys aren't talking, and now your kids are getting shot up because you guys are sisters. This is ridiculous. So I went to the boyfriends, and I'm going, what the fuck? You know, these are my aunts. These are my second cousins. This is not This is not cool. You need to shut this shit down right now. Oh, you shouldn't have been all right. Well, you California niggas coming up here and said, nah, brother, it's not like that at all. This is my family you're fucking with now. You don't know me. And it's so funny because in that community, you don't know me, it means a lot. You don't know me, what I'm about. They had to back up. Even though I wasn't shit. I'm standing up to a fucking gangster. You know, I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? You don't know me, and I don't know you. This is my little cousin that got shot up by one of your boys. This is not cool. So I'm trying to go to school here and get education, man. I'm not trying to be battling coming in and out of town. I'm staying right here. That's my Uncle Leggett. That's my Uncle Nancy. That's my uncle. That's my auntie. This. That's our aunt. People. Oh man. Oh, you family? I said, yeah, I'm family. Now you know me. Stop. Oh yeah, right. We're good. So no. We're not, but okay. And that's why I said it was racist. It was racist for blacks against me, whites against me. Everybody was against me. I was from California. I don't know if it was more racist as it was because I wasn't from there. So I had to battle my way in and battle my way out. I just got fed up with it. I was like, I'm out. This is stupid. I'm just trying to get an education and go to school, and you guys want to play games about where you live, or where you're from, what you got, I got, because I had a job since I was 3, you know. I worked for my car. No one gave me this car. I worked for this thing, you know. And I work on it every weekend. I put rims on it, exhaust system on it, lowered it. While I'm in college, I'm working on my car, and they're watching me do all this, and I'm paying rent, and I'm working at a gas station all night long, and going to school in the daytime, and they saw me hustling, and that's probably what changed me. I didn't sit there and go and talk and not do nothing. I went there and had a job within 3 days. You know, I didn't like that job, I had another job. You know, I wanted something, I bought it. You know, I went to school, I worked, and I supported my family, and that's what happened. And so when I came back to California, it was like, that was rough. I didn't want to live that. I don't know how people do live that. I feel bad for people that have to live in that mentality that don't know that because a stranger comes into your community doesn't make them a bad person. And what you're doing, I'm not judging you. I'm just thinking that you can do better. It's not a judgment. It's a fact. Yeah, you can do better than this. You know, I know. I'm doing it. I'm showing you. I'm going to school, Leroy. You know, watch my shit. I got you, bro. Okay, you know, I come back and they did my shit with me there. And, you know, they can do better. And they say lead by example. Well, now we have a black female vice president. That's going to help. We had a black president. I hope that helped a lot of minority kids and their hopes and dreams. I think the community should be more supportive of their youth versus, it's been as much energy as they are against the police as they were for each other. There'd be a lot better use of resources myself. I think the community is key. And there are a lot of black people out there doing a lot of good for the community. They're actually putting up websites and putting up hotspots for kids to get internet, make sure they have food and make sure they have education and experiences that they weren't getting before, generations before weren't getting. So it's happening. White America needs to understand that we're not out for equality, we're just out for respect. I don't want to be equal to you, I already am. I'm human. Just respect my black ass. That's it. People speak it on equal terms. They're like, I was born equal. The second I hit this, came out of my mama's womb, we're all the same. That's it. Respect that. And that's it. I was taught a thief's a thief, a liar, and this is that. This is and accept that and respect that. If that's what you want to be, all right, I got you. I will treat you accordingly, but respect me for what I'm about to be or trying to be. And hopefully what I'm trying to be will help you be something that you want to be, except for something that you think you have to be. Respect is from internal. You have to respect the self. And Miss Annie, my mom, respecting of self is the key fundamental ideology that has been lost in today's society. It's self-respect, it's self-worth. A lot of people don't respect themselves. So if you can't respect yourself, there's no way in hell you're going to even come close to finding a way to respecting me and what I'm doing. You're not going to respect me. And I don't expect you to. So.